and Clément is going to be talking to us about the LemonLDAP, right?
Yeah.
And Clément works in identity and access management field since 2003, starting with LDAP migration projects from proprietary products to open LDAP. To achieve this, he creates some simple tools like monitoring, script initialization, script or packaging, and now publishes on LDAP Toolbox project. In parallel, he is the leader of LemonLDAP NG, an open source web SSO access control and identity federation product. He is also employed in LDAP synchronization project, a connector written in Java. Clément is part of LDAPCon 2007, presented in the FederID project, and he's now working on its successor, LenID. LenID is an open source product from Lenagora.
Yes. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Hello all. It's okay. We hear me good. So I'm a French guy, like the two others before me. So I have two things to say. Sorry for my accent, okay, and sorry for the castle. We visited yesterday. Sorry, okay. We'll talk for this session about single sign-on. So just to know how many people know what single sign-on is. Okay. How many people use it or administer it? Okay. And how many people know the LemonLDAP project? Okay, so thank you for coming. Here's the schedule. So my autobiography, so 2 hours maybe. We will talk about single sign-on, about theoretical, and then I will present the LemonLDAP NG software and have a focus on the LDAP support because we are here a little to talk about LDAP. So me, I do LDAP as all of you since 2003 in Linagora, okay, and I do a lot of migrations. So we throw up Sun, Oracle, and we get OpenLDAP in place. I write some French documentation, and I am the leader of the LDAP Toolbox project. Maybe you know it. If not, please go on the website. And of course, of the LemonLDAP project. And I have a big weakness. So I'm a Perl guy and not a Java guy. Okay. Okay. So some words about single sign-on. Okay, we have more and more web applications or services on the internet or in our society, enterprise firm that require authentication. And as you know, the password strength is weak when the password number rise. Okay, because we are all lazy people. I am a big lazy people, so I have a post-it like we said before. We have, of course, LDAP directories, but we have with LDAP directory a single credential. We have a login and a password, okay, but we have not single sign-on, okay? And single sign-on is just to sign one time and not to use its password anymore. So the single sign-on allows users to submit their credential only once and access to all trusted applications. And the second point is important. The application, the protected application, do not manage passwords anymore. Okay? They do not even see the password anymore. Okay? They just see a user connected to him. So the identity of the user is forwarded to application by the single sign-on software. Okay? And we have I will talk about single sign-on with some trust between the single sign-on software and the application, and not about single sign-on that just forward credentials, okay, to application. We are here in a security point of view when we delegate the trust from the application to the single sign-on software. Okay, so when I explain this to my daughter, I show her this. Okay, one, we go to the web application. Oh, the web application don't know us, and it redirects us on the portal, okay? It's a big house when you have the key. And then your mom in the portal gives you a cookie because you are hungry. And with this cookie, you go to the application. And oh, the application say, okay, welcome. So my daughter understands it. I hope you all understood it too, okay? This is really simple, but all the single sign-on software are working like that. We go to the application. If we are not trusted by the single sign-on software, we go on a portal, we enter the single sign-on software, so we get a cookie, a session, a token, okay, and we go back to the application, and we are in. We have two methods to do a single sign-on authentication. The first is the delegation. It's what I just showed. We go to the application, so we then go to the portal, and when we go back, there is a little request between the application and the portal to say, hey, is this user really known by the single sign-on software, the single sign-on system? Yes, okay, I can access. And of course, when I access to application A, I can also access to application B because the two applications belongs to the same single sign-on system. The other way to do single sign-on is to do a reverse proxy. And in this architecture, I just connect to the reverse proxy, and then the reverse proxy forwards all the requests to hidden applications, okay? So I have no direct contact between the user and the application. It's like application firewalling, if you want. So the two approach can be used for single sign-on architecture. And also single sign-on have friends, like me. When we do single sign-on, we also do a lot of other things. And the first is access management. So today we talk a lot about airbag, okay? In France, we have another notion called ORBAC. It's organization-based access control. And I created one, which I call what you want based access control. What you want, okay? I will explain this in LemonLDAP. We can have some security models, and of course, it's really great to have security models like airbag, because this allows you to have a powerful audit system. So you can say with airbag, I have a role list, I have a users list, and I can know what they can do on the system, okay? Just reading the airbag model. We can also do what we want, so we can have the audit part. If we do what we want, we say, okay, if the user has brown eyes, okay, he can access or anything else. So this is not a really security improved method, but for single sign-on administrators and access management administrator, it can be very helpful to go rid of the best access control model. The second point is self-service. Okay, if you do single sign-on, you will have a single point of password management. So if the user lost his passwords, maybe you can use the single sign-on portal to do password recover, okay, the password visit function. And also you maybe can have the account creation option in this portal. So if a new user comes to you, he can just create his account, and then you have just to say okay. And the last point is the identity federation. I will not talk a lot about it because we don't have time, but LemonLDAP is a powerful identity federation product because we know how to talk to OpenID and SAML with this product. Okay. So what's LemonLDAP? This is the topic of this part. A little bit of history. So we're really, for now, a French product that was built in French administration to replace Novell. That's why we are called Lemon, because it's not because we love lemons, okay? Nothing to do with lemons. It's just because when the founder chooses a name, he just revert the Novell world and create Lemon, okay? Because we are like Novell or SiteMinder product, we use HTTP headers to distribute the identity to applications. And we have the new generation branch, which is a complete rewrite made by the gendarmerie, okay, the police. And all these people are working on the project. So, 3 main components. The first is the portal, very important, is where all the authentication process took part. Is where you can see all the application you have access to, and is where you can change your password, okay? To summarize, is the place where all user interactions are. You have then a component called the manager, which is just the configuration interface. And the last is the handler. And it's very important because it's the authorization agent. And if someone knows ModPerl, it's the piece of code inside ModPerl that analyzes all HTTP requests and do access management on each HTTP request. Okay? And we have Perl, only Perl. Okay, is the portal and the manager are Perl CGI. The handler is a ModPerl handler. Okay, we don't have any other thing. Of course, we have pictures, HTML, JavaScript, etc. The global architecture is like this. So you have users here and your LDAP server here. So your manager, and here you have application, either with reverse proxies, okay, or just here with delegation with the handlers here, okay? So we have 2 internal databases for configuration here and sessions. And we will see how we interact with this database. So here's a big picture, okay? I know it's late. I will try to do it easy. So what LemonLDAP is the under part, the portal part, and okay, that's all. We do not provide the session backend, the user data backend, because it's yours. It's an LDAP directory, for example, or a database. And we do not provide users. Okay, we don't want users. And we do not provide web application. Okay, it's your application. So when you download LemonLDAP, you download the handler part, the portal part, of course, the administration interface, and it's all. By default, sessions are just flat files on the system, so you don't need to set up a session backend, okay? But we don't provide it. So I don't show that to my daughter, okay? Because she will do nightmares, so it's just for you, okay? I have a user, he wants to go to the web application, but the handler is here. It intercepts the request, and it says, okay, redirect to the portal because you don't have any cookie, you don't have any sessions. Here, you send your credentials. So I contact the user data backend, and I check the credentials to be easy, a login and a password, but we'll see we can use many authentication protocols. And I get back some data, the name, the mail, etc. If all is good, I store data in session, and I get a key. And I have a cookie with the key inside, which is sent to the user. And all this is done with transparent redirection, okay? For the users, you just have tried to contact the application. Here, I go back with a transparent redirect to the application. The handler is here. He gets the cookie, he gets the key, and asks to the session database the data. With the data, he can do two things. The first is the access control part. He will say, okay, you have that email, you have that name, you have that service, you have that group. You can access or you cannot access. And the second thing is, okay, this application needs a header with the user login and a header with the user email. So I will provide these HTTP headers. And then only here, my request comes to the application. And when my request is here, I know that my user is authenticated and I have all the user information in my headers. And then I can follow up all the HTTP process. And we do this for each HTTP request, okay? So maybe the question is, wow, each HTTP request, do you have some time to do all of this, okay? Yes, it takes approximately 2 milliseconds overhead per request. So it's transparent, okay? Because we use Perl, okay, we use Perl. Okay, here's a complete explication. You will have this on the slide. Now, how do we protect applications? We are based on the virtual host Apache methods. So we have, for one application, we define a virtual host, okay? And for each virtual host, we can define access rules. We will have example. You can define HTTP headers, so what are the information that I forward to the application. And we have also the possibility to do post actions. If your application wants eat some HTTP headers, okay, you can say, okay, I'll post you some data. But we prefer just to use the HTTP headers. And then we have some other options. Okay. Access rules are like this, okay? Default access rules, I accept all users, but all authenticated users, okay? Or I can say I accept only the users which are member of the admin group, okay? And I can do here what I want because it is just a Perl expression, okay? You can write 2,000 Perl code lines to say how you want to build your access control, okay? But please don't do this, okay? Just use simple expression. And what do you see here is regular expression. Yoo-hoo! We have regular expression to match the protected URLs, okay? So you can say, I want to protect just an only directory, or I want to protect all the PHP files, or I want to protect all what I want because I can use the regex Perl engine to match the protected area. And we have some special targets like logout. We can say, okay, if the user clicks on a link which leads to a logout.php page, it is a logout. So I log out the user from all the SSO system. And we can also do some Perl expression inside headers, okay? You can say, I just send the UID, or I want to do some Perl, so I will try to use uppercase uppercase first, etc. Okay. So if you like Perl, use it. And if you don't like it, use it because it's very easy. Okay, you see. Some words about the configuration of the session because it's very important in an architecture point of view. The configuration is shared between components. So if you have a single sign-on server, you can have all this on flat files, okay? Because all the components will read the files. But you can also choose to share the configuration data in an SQL database or in an LDAP directory, okay? We can store the configuration in an LDAP directory. And we have also some SOAP methods to get the configuration with web services. Okay, it's just a little JPEG, okay, attribute of the administration interface. So you can see that all the administration, all the parameters can be set through this application, okay. For the cookie of the sessions, we have a lifetime and idle timeout, okay. So you can say from a client point of view, your session will last 2 hours, and also from a server point of view, this session will last 2 hours. Okay, you can control both sides. And we can store session in files, but also in an LDAP directory, okay? SQL, not only SQL, etc. SOAP, and we have some cookie protection because we can say, okay, I give you a cookie, but you can only use it on HTTPS connection. Okay, so if you contact an HTTP application, you will not send the cookie. It is the browser is responsible for sending the cookie over a secure channel. And we manage cross-domain, okay, because if you know how work cookies, I set a cookie on a domain, for example, google.com, and I go on yahoo.com, and the browser cannot send a cookie from Google to Yahoo because a cookie is only sent on a common domain. So we have some mechanism to say, okay, I have a single sign-on cookie on my portal domain, and I can access to another domain. I will recreate on the fly the SSO cookie on the second domain. Okay, so we manage cross-domain. And to do authentication, of course, we do LDAP. We will talk about it in the last part. But we also do a lot of things like SSL, client certificates, or the Apache built-in modules. Maybe you have already set up some Apache built-in modules. You can have Authn LDAP, Authn Kerb, etc. We can use all these modules to do the authentication. And we are compatible with all this. SAML2, OpenID, Twitter, CAS. Anyone know the CAS, Central Authentication Service? Okay, so we can use CAS to authenticate. Okay, the good news is we can also be a CAS server. Okay, so if you have a CAS server, please throw it and use LemonLDAP instead of it, because it's Perl and not Java. Okay, and UBK, someone knows the UBK? Okay, it's a small token. Yeah, you can do a one-time password with it. And we can stack the methods or display it together. And of course, what I say, we are an identity federation product, so SAML2, OpenID2, and CAS 1 and 2 protocols. So once you're logged in LemonLDAP, the basic feature is to send HTTP headers to protected application, but we are also an identity product, identity federation product, so we are identity provider. If you have a SAML service provider, you can also connect to the identity provider, and as you are already authenticated, you do single sign-on with all SAML service application, or with all OpenID clients, or with all your classified application. Okay, so it's really a centralized single sign-on product. So, to finish these 2 years, these 2 days of conference, a little was on LDAP, because we are named LemonLDAP because we love LemonLDAP. Okay, it's a big love. We do LDAP for many things. The first is the authentication part, of course, but we manage all the user data and all the password change in LDAP, group membership, password policy, and configuration sessions. Okay, so the classical LDAP authentication process we use is we search to get a DN, okay, and then we bind. It's a simple bind, okay, with the DN and the password. And we get attributes, and we store all attributes we get in the sessions. We manage, of course, multi-valuated attributes. Okay, we have a separator, so you can manage multi-valuated attributes. And we have many configuration options, the search bars, the filters, etc. You can match any DIT because we can all configure. The second part is the group membership, because we often have a branch with groups or roles or anything else, okay, to give some credential to users. So we search on a group branch, and we keep the groups where the user is member, okay, easy. But we have also an advanced feature. We can use recursive groups or nested groups, okay. So if you belong to a group which belong to another group, we can store all the group hierarchy in your session, so you can have access right based on top-level groups, okay, or on low-level groups. And we have a local group definition in LemonLDAP, because you can also say, okay, I will just create a local group in LemonLDAP to say the UID Toto and the UID Tata, we will form a group that does not exist on my LDAP directory, but I need it. I need this virtual group for my single sign-on software. So we have some local group definition, and we can mix the LDAP groups and the local groups. So you can use anything you want in groups to do the access control. Okay, many configuration options, group object class and attributes. So you can have group of members, group of unique members, of anything else. You just need a relation between the user and the object group. And another thing is the password policy, because we have a draft in the LDAP which defines how to handle password policy on server side. So for now, and for many years now, it is just a draft. So please release it, because it's very important, because all the major LDAP vendors have password policy server side, okay? And it is not really a standard. So we rely on it, but we know it can evolve, okay? So it's a little demand, okay? Please release it. We use it for authentication, so we can have the control to say, okay, your account is locked. If it's configured on server side, that you can say the account is locked. Your account is expired. And of course, we can say, okay, we have configured a warning time on server side. So the control says, okay, you just have 2 hours before expiration. So we display it on LemonLDAP. Okay, so we are LDAP client password policy aware. And the grace, okay, you know maybe the grace of authentication when you do a password policy. When your account is expired, you can have 1 or 2 authentication grace to be able to change it. So we also display this. For the password change, when the password is refused by the directory through the password policy control says, okay, it's because it's too short, okay? So we can display this. And another thing, we can force the password change if some administrator says, okay, password reset, how many of you use the password reset feature from the password policy? Okay, of course you use it. Well, later, okay. This feature is to say, okay, I set a flag in user's entry, and when the next LDAP application will connect, the password policy control will say, okay, you can connect with this password, but it's the only time you can do it, because I want you to change your password now. But how many applications can manage this? One is LemonLDAP, okay, maybe 2 in the world, maybe 3, I don't know. What is difficult when we have an authentication product like this is the password policy. When we are in this case, do not say authentication refused, okay? It says authentication success, because to change your password, you need to be able to authenticate. Okay, so a simple application will bind, the server will say, okay, but I have a control. Okay, I have a control which will say, okay, but change your password. But all the application will say, okay, go on. But in OpenLDAP, for example, you can bind, but you cannot do searches, because the password policy say, okay, you can just bind because you have to reset your password. The only operation you can do is bind and password modification. Okay? So with LemonLDAP, we got the OK response, and we also check the control. And when the control says you must reset your password, we do not open the single sign-on session. We display a form where the user must change its passwords. Then we apply the change, and then we can connect and open the single sign-on session. Okay? And we can use, of course, the password modify, extended operation, and simple, we can choose how we manage the password modify operation. So the last big thing is the configuration session. And as I said, we can all store in an LDAP directory. And why is it marvelous? Because we can use LDAP directory, of course, but from the architecture point of view, we can have easily multi-master or single master with a failover with mirror mode, okay, for session and configuration. And it's more and more easy to set this with LDAP directories as backend than with SQL database as backend, okay, from my experience point of view. So we use a standard Apache session API, which is a standard API in Perl. So we just write an Apache session LDAP module, and you can use it in any Perl program that use the Apache session API. And with this, you can store all your sessions in an LDAP directory. Okay. So I think this is the end for me. Just a little words to thank, of course, LDAPCon organizers. Many, many thanks. LDAP Get Together France. It's a small French organization where all the LDAP French guys talk to each other once or two per year. Okay. Thanks for being there. I'd like to thank the LDAP standard, okay, for being complicated, because it gives works to me. Okay. Thank you. And if you want to stay in touch, okay, you have all the contacts here. So thanks. Thanks a lot.
I just got one question. Is it Perl that you guys are using, or?
Yeah, Perl.
Okay. I just wanted, because did you want to use Java?
No,
okay.
But I use it for my work too.
Gotcha. Okay.
One of your slides mentioned a management console that allowed you to peer into the state of the sessions, and I was wondering if there's any provisions for administratively removing a session prior to its scheduled expiration.
You can, we have in the manager interface a session management module. You can browse all active sessions. You can delete it in live, okay, and you have a session expiration batch that will expire all expired sessions.
Right. To me, that would be one of the main values of this over CAS, in that CAS does not really let you get into its data
Because
store.
I have a lot of people that say me, okay, I know single sign-on because I know CAS, okay, but we have also other solutions, and this is one other solution to do single sign-on.
How many production sites are you running on right now?
We have, in French administration, we have a lot of users. We have, in gendarmerie, we have 100,000 users, yes. So we have big deployment with it. Yes.
I have a question. Is the use of it restricted to only web services, or can you use it for POP, IMAP, and so on?
Sorry, I don't.
Mail protocols like IMAP,
IMAP, yes.
POP, and so on. Is that?
No, for now we just use the HTTP protocol.
Yeah.
Okay, for IMAP we have to do some tricks with SASL, okay, to do single sign-on over IMAP.
Is it on the roadmap?
No, because we are using the cookies and we are using all the HTTP stack to do single sign-on with a browser. It's really a web single sign-on product.
Okay, thanks.
Just a response to that, you might be interested in a project called Moonshot. They do XAML with non-web, non-HTTP protocols. Moonshot, yeah. My question, what was my, yes, my question was, do you have any experience of interoperability with your XAML 2 implementation and a Shibboleth implementation? So
no, I did not connect our implementation with Shibboleth, but we rely on an open source library, which is called Lasso, Liberty Alliance Single Sign-On. You may know it. So we use Lasso to support SML protocol. So we have some proof of concept with Google Apps SAML authentication, so it works very well. So maybe just because we have 5 minutes, a little. Okay, this is the portal. And you have then applications. And when you connect, okay, this is a very basic application that show HTTP headers. So you can see all the headers that comes from LDAP directory. But this application did not know anything about LDAP, okay? And to finish, maybe the manager. So here is all the configuration tree, so you can set all what you want. Yes? Yes, of course. I just have to find where. Right. Yes. Here is. Okay, magic. Okay, we detect the browser language to display the language. Okay. A working demonstration. So we have all the SAML configuration, okay, and you see that you can then import identity providers if you configure as a service provider. So you can have here, for those who know the SAML business, or the metadata part, okay, here. And we have here the session explorer, so we can know who is connected. And we have all the session content, and you can see that we can trace IPs, timestamps, groups here, and a lot of things. Okay. So all this can be used in access rules or HTTP headers. And we have a little module that do notifications. So you can say, I want to register a message for a user or for all users, like a disclaimer. For example, please do not break the single sign-on software. Okay. So it's a disclaimer. And when the user logs in, the message is displayed, and you have a checkbox. And until the user clicks the checkbox, is on the message. Okay, you have to validate the message to go on. So you can give some news on anything you want to the users with the system, because we are a single point of authentication. So you can display messages to users with it.
Very good.
Thank
Clément.
you. Thank you.